Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Seasonal Hell Let Loose. God damn, it's a pleasure to be back. God damn, it's a pleasure. We are here for week number 2. Today's match is a banger of a match. It's going to be Chimera versus ESPT. That's an OCE clan versus a predominantly NA clan, but we'll see how we go. Look, I could keep talking, and I know I say this literally every week, but what I'm going to do before I keep doing that is introduce my co-caster. Now this, you may wonder, but that's actually a webcam. Look, I don't know whether you know this, but Cfuzzled face over there, his face doesn't move when he talks. It's absolutely true. Fuzz, how are you, mate?
Good, mate, good. And it's not so much my face doesn't move, it's just the absolute shit internet over here, mate, keeping it still. But no, absolute pleasure to be here and really excited for this game we're going to be casting today, tonight, this evening, this morning.
This morning? I think it's still technically morning over here. Yeah, time zones are absolutely not my strong point, but bringing you the best Hell Let Loose matches is, I've also got, you'll hear the disembodied voice of Ignicholas. Ignicholas is going to be moderating chat for us, and he's going to be jumping in with some special comments from time to time. Iggy, how are you, mate?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Stu.
And it's a pleasure to have both of you. Now, Fuzz, I like to establish the bona fides of all my co-casters before we get started. So you are a Chimera member, just to obviously keep this OCE cast nice and balanced. So you're an ex-comp player, but you do a lot of the organisational stuff behind the scenes, and you also sorted out the APAI tournament in the OCE and North America region previously.
Yeah, that I did. It was a cracker of a tournament. You know, it was 35v35, so a little bit less busy than this one, being 49v49. But yeah, been around for a while, bit of an old head, but absolutely loving it. Just washed up and can't aim now.
A little bit like that. I don't know. Well, I can't talk because what I do is cast Hell Let Loose matches now. Although I had a comp match last night. That was my side, OC versus Ballistics. We came away with a 5-0 win. So you know what? Like I feel like I can play some Hell Let Loose from time to time.
Not as rusty as you think. Good job, mate.
I say as we're starting to cast the literal premier Hell Let Loose tournament in the world with the best teams. I feel like I just needed to chuck that one in. What are you going to do? Chimera. Fuzz, Chimera have been an absolute dominant side lately, haven't they?
That they have. They really had a good back end of 2022 and continued that energy into 2023. So you guys would have seen they finished out the HCA, winning the top seed of the minors and moving into the majors next year. Yeah, just a really strong team, very methodical with the way that they play, and just do everything as one unit. So their tanks, their arty, their infantry all work together. The same pretty much could be said about Esprit though as well. They're a very tactical team, very clinical you could say as well. They love their flanks, which is a bit hard on PHL, but you know.
I thought the way to win a Hell Let Loose match was to hold Shift and W. But hey, I could be wrong. I know we were talking about before, Fuzz. We were talking about, you were saying that Esprit de Corps won a hell of a Hell Let Loose side. You said they're probably the preeminent side in the North America region. There's a little bit of history there recent history between Chimera and Esprit de Corps, isn't there?
Yeah, they played a couple matches together. Most recently, they met last seasonal on Remagen, where Chimera was able to eke out a 3-2 victory off a bit of a dice roll, gambling that the point was on their side. So that was quite a good match. And then before that, they played a couple of friendlies on St. Rita Mont. They played a game on PHL as well, which Esprit was able to come away with a 3-2 victory. But these teams are very much the top dogs of their region, so it'll be very interesting to see how they go today against one another.
Oh, man, ever since I got allocated this casting slot, I've been genuinely excited to watch this one. And welcome anybody else that's joining us from home. It is a pleasure to have you along. The match is going to be PHL night. It's going to be Chimera versus ESPT. Recent history, dude, that's massive that ESPT have had that recent win over Chimera. Chimera obviously probably learned a few things from that match and probably pretty keen to get back into it. We just sort of... We do have the admin cam confirmed. Before we get too far into that though, I'm going to go press this button so we can have a look at how, this is Group B of the seasonal competition. We can see that ESPT win over FOC last week. and Chimera beating File, which puts them into the top bracket, which is why we're watching them today. That was a pretty dominant win last week from Chimera, wasn't it, Buzz?
Yeah, by both teams, actually. Both teams came away with a 5-0 victory on this map as well. So they're pretty much doing a replay. Same side, same map as last week. So obviously they've watched each other's game. They probably learned some stuff. We'll see if anything changes.
Yep. I think the biggest thing that you're saying is that the winner out of this match is basically guaranteed a spot in the round of 16, which makes it a massive match for both of these sides, doesn't it?
Yeah, that they are. So even if the winner of this one goes into a match against the winner of 116 and KRT, and the loser of that match is guaranteed the round of 12 and the winner of the round of 8. So this is the match to book your tickets for the finals right here.
Oh, and we're expecting an absolutely cracker of a match. Just having a look at, looks like most of the Chimera lads are here. You're on your lonesome on the other side, my friend.
I am all by myself.
You don't have any NA friends yet, but look, I'm sure they're just doing a little bit of pre-match prep, a little bit of pre-match warm-up. We'll wait for them to file in a little bit before we get too much further. But as the organizer of the APAI last year, that was one hell of a competition. I enjoyed casting that. We did cast the final, which blew my mind that I got the opportunity to do that, so thank you very much. But I think, was it OPBHB came away with a win in that one, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, that they did, versus Gary Busters, our other OCE mates down in Group D. We've got a match later tonight.
They do. I think
yeah.
that's being streamed on Noppers' channel, which is genuinely exciting. So make sure you've already followed Noppers. You've got notifications turned on. You'll be able to find him in that seasonal Discord if you're not there already. Make sure you swing by there. He is one hell of a caster, and that will be one hell of a match. GBI with something to prove after we watched them last week go down 4-1 versus the Circle on Carentan. This competition so far, seasonal always, like it never ceases to surprise me, Buzz. The standard of competition here is like nothing else I've ever seen.
Yeah, especially going into this week too. I'm sure some of our viewers have already watched some of the matches from this round, but there have been some absolute bangers that happened overnight here for us, but in the morning for you guys in other time zones, and they were absolutely to die for, some of those matches.
Oh, they were. And look, I wasn't planning to watch them, but I don't know whether you can tell, but we're looking a little bit on the tired side this morning because I started watching them and realized I'm not going to be able to go to bed whilst these matches are going.
Yeah, you and me both. I was very fatigued this morning, you could say.
Yeah, but you were only 15 minutes late, so I figure that's probably not so bad, right?
Calling me out right here and right now, goddamn.
All right, what we're going to do is we're going to play a little bit of a transition, and we're going to crack onto some pre-match antics, because I don't know about you, Fuzz. I love watching some of the shit these teams get up to pre-match. Let's go.
Yep, let's hit it.
Or is it just me, or is that just a delicious... I'll take that transition. Thank you very much, Iggy, for doing that one for me. It's well worth remembering on the when we're looking at this main camera, the blueberries will be the Chimera side. When we flip over to Fuzzled side, oh, he's looking at the scoreboard now, which doesn't help anything. When we flip over to Fuzz's cam, it will be... they will flip. So the blueberries on Fuzz's cam will be the ESP side. The red berries will be the Chimera side. Looks like we've got a bit of smoke going. No team killing yet, which is obviously a little bit disappointing, but what are you going to do? Fuzz, the question I ask all of my co-casters, whenever you've played a comp match, and I know it's been a little while for you, when you've played a comp match, do you have any pre-game rituals? Do you have anything that you absolutely need to get done whenever you play comp?
For me personally, it's just always been about G'ing the boys up. I'm always one that I'm feeding off the energy of the boys, so always trying to keep it positive, even if we're getting our absolute asses handed to us. So in that first couple of minutes, it's just G'ing the boys up, getting them so hyped that when we're rolling out in the truck, it's just a massive ball of chaotic energy waiting to kill people.
Yep. I know with my clan, OC, we do have a new pre-game ritual. I don't know what's happening on this one, but we have the human centipede is our new pre-game ritual, with the entire team crawling in a line. Why? Because we started doing it and we've started winning, so we've basically decided it's not because we're a better comp side, it's because we've been doing the human centipede. That's exactly and the only reason we were ever going to win anything. Chimera, very subdued. It looks like they're taking a more professional angle on this, my friend. I'm looking forward to it.
They might be putting off that energy, but probably getting closer to it. You'll see a few rockets fly or all that. So
If I don't see a couple more grenades and at least 1 or 2 satchels, I'll be genuinely disappointed, my friend. And I'll have words with the Chimera side afterwards. Let's PHL night. We're running at 150 brightness. It was a creative decision. Usually, obviously, if you play on a night map, you jack that brightness up to about 200, but we're playing on 150 because I wanted to get a little bit more of the atmosphere in as well. So we see how that goes. Fuzz, how are we looking on the ESPT side? Are we getting up to anything? Are there any antics? Ooh, flamethrowers, always a good start.
there's flamethrowers about, so I'd say they're not as subdued as Chimera, but I think they're just aim training, mate. Personally, calling in those head taps.
So that's what I do as well. So that's my pre-game ritual, right? Is I'll just sit there with whatever my gunner choice is, be it the Kar98, god damn it, because I've got to get used to it reloading 14 times before you're able to shoot again in the current meta. Pointing out bugs, that's something we do around here apparently. But is just finding those spots, sort of aiming, making sure I've got a good enough aim and a good enough flick to headshots. That's sort of my thing. One of the other things, we've got one member of the clan that we always make sure we murder before every match. That fat guy, shout out to that lad. He always is our sacrificial lamb. But we can't be too far away from the start of this match. It was due to start about 3 minutes ago, so we're kind of excited. 99 players.
On a couple of spree players on my side. I think we're down 1 or 2, so I should be kicking off shortly.
Yeah, I've got 99 players currently filtered into the server. I've been looking forward to this match, Fuzz. Look, obviously, what I should have done, as an OCE man myself, and given I'm on the Chimera side, it's going to be hard for me to keep this commentary balanced. I will do my best, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies to all the Yanks out there. All the ESPT guys, welcome in. If you're here to watch ESPT, obviously they're one hell of a goddamn hell let loose side. And we're probably... So, let's do predictions, Fuzz. Let's do predictions.
If you were don't ask me this, no.
If you were going to predict... Oh, look, I'll start this one off, shall I? I'm going to go ahead and predict this is going to be a 3-2 win to ESPT today. Which way are you going to call it, my friend?
I think you're definitely right with the 3-2 there. I don't think any team will get to a 1-4 or 5-0. However, I think that the tank battles will really decide the dominance of this. Being such an open map with both sides rocking MGs galore and Artie, I think if you can establish tank dominance, that'll get you the win.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And it's a bit of a weird one with the old seasonal rules, which is probably worth mentioning before we start the game, isn't it? Look, 2 of the biggest rule changes that we've got this season are with tanks. The Panther is banned. The Panther is... We're not going to see any. We're only going to see Tigers as heavies on the Axis side, my friend.
Yep, so that's just a little bit of intentional game balancing, you could call it, by the seasonal organisers. Me personally, I love it. Makes tank engagements exciting again, makes them a little bit more tactical, and it's looked to be working so far.
And I don't know about you, but I love seeing Tigers back in the meta. You know, seeing Tigers...
They look so good.
Oh, it just brings a certain amount of joy to my face. The other big rule and the other big change to the seasonal rules this year is artillery. You can only have 1 man on artillery, and he's not allowed to leave the gun ever. And he is unkillable, punishable by automatic kill bot thing. I don't know how it works, but yeah, the unkillable artillery, which has made a huge change. Weirdly, Fuzz, I think we haven't seen that many changes in the amount of kills we're seeing from artillery, given those rule changes. That said, yep.
It's a bit difficult. This will probably be one of the first matches to gauge it off, actually, because PHL's an Artie map, and it's the first map on it that's probably going to go the 90 minutes. So,
yeah, I completely agree. I think, look, the other thing is, do you have in Chimera, do you have that artillery specialist? Do you have that person that's been well drilled at it?
we've got a couple of people who are versed on artillery, as I'm sure Esprit does. Some TK more than others. Some of the Chimera fellas will see the inside joke in that. But generally, it's either Cooler or Obi usually steps in and drops bombs on everyone's head.
Yep. And it's interesting. It's we're about 10 seconds away from this match change, so we'll I'm gonna wind up this useless fill-in commentary talk, and ladies and gentlemen, we're about to start this. This is going to be Chimera versus Esprit de Corps on Purple Heart Lane Night. Good luck to both teams. I'm rooting for both of you. I mean, obviously one of you has to win, but Fuzz, Ig Nicholas, let's go, lads. I'm just waiting for my squad. Hopefully I get to pick who that is. I'm looking for Cooler. Is going to be our artillery lad. He's going to be on a squad by himself somewhere. There he is. We'll spawn in and we'll get a little bit of match commentary going for you. Love each and every one of you. Thank you very much for everybody that's just subbed, everybody that's just followed. You're all amazing. I appreciate all the support I get around here. You're all some of the best people in the history of the planet. I'm putting it out there, and I'm not ever going to let anybody say anything bad about you. We're just going to fly over, and we're going to have a look at nodes going down. Obviously, with such a well-drilled side, you'd expect nothing less than all those nodes going up almost immediately. How are we looking on the Esprit de Corps side, my friend?
Pretty much the same here. Like you said, these teams are absolutely clinical when it comes to this stuff. This is their bread and butter. They're not going to have any dramas doing this kind of stuff.
No, 100% they're not. What I might do is I'm just going to flick over to my map. We're going to have a look at what points we're going to be fighting over. We're going to start with the Esprit de Corps defensive side. It's going to be Bloody Bend is going to be their HQ. Douve Bridge in the middle. Carentan Causeway. God damn, I've had some matches fought over that one, and they've gone both poorly and well for me, give or take. But that's going to be our middle point that we're going to be fighting over. The first defensive point for Chimera is going to be Aid Station off to the right-hand side of our map, and Cabbage Patch is going to be on the right as well. So, look, it's a bit of a mixed bag in terms of the map. We should probably talk about the commanders, shouldn't we? For the Chimera side, we're going to be commanded by Mav is going to be the commander for Chimera. Who's the commander for this Esprit de Corps side?
We've got Cryo stepping in as the commander for Esprit today.
Now, I'm led to believe Inchon's normally sort of their main commander. I think he's on vacation, I got told. So, look, new commander, I'm sure he's a very experienced Hell Let Loose player, and I'm sure that he's going to do very well.
Yeah, I'm sure a team like Esprit has got 3 or 4 blokes lined up, waiting to go if one of them has to step out for whatever. Real life comes first, unless we're getting paid for this. Which, Stu, we get paid for this?
Look, if anybody wants to chuck me some dollars, I will absolutely take some. No, we are absolutely not getting paid for this. That said, I did just see Firefighter sub, so thank you very much for that, my friend. Pleasure. So what we're watching now, we're just going to follow one of the Chimera trucks in. What we did just see is all the squad leads obviously spawning up there. The current meta is to spawn up there, drop an OP, let the rest of your squads that are dropping boxes and building nodes and whatnot spawn up at the truck. So we should see it's a mostly full truck. We're going to see Entice is sitting on the roof as the sniper. Good luck to them. I know everyone's had one of those matches where they're in the opening truck and they get immediately either tank sniped or shot by artillery. But good luck, ladies and gentlemen. That's the match start. We'll see the historically invisible wall dropped as we follow Entice and his truck in. They're going to be... What do you got?
Big tank snipes. Sorry to interrupt. Big tank snipes by Chimera coming in. Middle truck from Esprit. All dead.
Already, that's going to be
gone.
That's going to be a massive advantage for Chimera. A whole truck. Was it a full truck? How many casualties did we see out of that?
Full truck indeed. I couldn't tell you, but she's a meat paste. Luckily, they still had the OPs up, so count their blessing there.
The tank snipes for Esprit de Corps have been ineffective so far. It looks like Mav was pinned down a little bit, but the trucks have made it through that initial barrage. We're seeing this truck we're following by Entice move straight into the point. Bearded's is dropping off the back there. Obviously, he's got to drop his subs, and they're going to put a bit of a defensive Gary down there. And that's going to be Jungo number 3. Is going to be putting down that defensive Gary for them. Welcome in if you're joining us. God damn, it's a pleasure to have so many good humans here tonight. Let's have a look. This is Carentan Causeway. Looks like Chimera's got the early drop on it. Lots of lads into the point. Esprit de Corps, they just don't have anybody even vaguely close. Does look like they've got people out on that eastern flank. So it looks like they've put a bit of a heavy presence there. But I'll tell you what, have a look at this, Fuzz. the right-hand side, Esprit de Corps have dropped those lads nice and sort of narrow in, but your Chimera lads, they've jumped on this right-hand side, and it looks like they'll be on that right-hand flank of this Esprit de Corps push. So if those lads try and push straight into point, the red berries you're seeing towards the middle and or top of your screen, if they try and push into point, they will have a bit of trouble having all those Chimera lads onto their flank already. So I think this has been a very, very good start from Chimera. And well played. Let's jump back into the middle because it looks like most of the Chimera lads have perished as we see Esprit de Corps start to push in. Kobu's going to be tip of the spear. Polo Loco is going to be supporting him as the squad lead. And show me mercy, Artie. That's one hell of a good Hell Let Loose name. He's going to be pushing up down the right-hand side. Looks like Esprit de Corps are starting to cap it back now. It's going to be incumbent on Chimera to start getting their lads back, but have a look at that Artie doing some work behind to try and stop that one. Big spawn wave for Chimera. It's not... Looks like it is going to start capping it back, so we're just gunfights in the middle. Jinx is going to be tip of the spear. He's got his machine gun up in that 3-story building sitting up there. He's not going to last long as soon as I call his name out. The commentator's curse does mean that I'm going to take him out. Expect to see that. That's chalk that one more up for us, Fuzz. But Esprit de Corps, very good push into the middle now. We've just seen Club go down. Andy's going to cop it as well before getting blown up by artillery as well. Huller's sitting up behind. He is the squad lead. It's going to be fairly important that he stays alive. Lots of artillery going in and around him though. But Chimera still capping, which is good. Esprit de Corps, it is even Stevens on the middle. We have a hard-fought point over the middle now, Fuzz. This is exactly what we wanted to see out of this match, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, absolutely great work by Esprit here. Yes, they got their truck sniped off the middle, but they've come in with some force and pretty much pushed Chimera back to dead even and now starting to cap the middle.
Yeah, they are too. Sort of that second wave can be truly important, especially given that they lost that first sort of wave truck. But look, I think that shows very good composure from this North American side to be able to hold on to it, take the early losses on the chin, keep pushing, and they are really starting to push this Chimera front line back here. That said, that front line is pretty much as you see it. We'll switch over to this right-hand side. Chimera really starting to lose some gunfights over this right-hand flank at the moment. I said this would be crucial, and it looks like Esprit de Corps really responding very well to this Chimera flank that was going down the right-hand side. It's a little bit even at the moment. Chimera still can win this, but Esprit de Corps playing a very, very good brand of Hell Let Loose now. We're expecting them to keep dominating, but Chimera do have all the work to do. They can keep pushing up. The cap is about half capped to Esprit de Corps now, just over half capped. We are seeing a fairly dominant push from their rear echelons, trying to push up and support those lads that are sitting on. Mr. Ignicholas, what do you got, man?
Just letting you know, you need to check your scenes.
Thank you very much.
Here up.
I do that from time to time. Every now and again, I will forget that, Ignicholas. I appreciate all your work that you do, my friend.
I think what we're seeing here is pretty much what we expected. Huge, wide flanks that are pretty much map encompassing. Because if you lose one flank, it just gives so much maneuverability to your opposition. So massive, like looking at the map, it's almost the length of the whole map.
Has Glove not seen him?
In on.
Glove had not seen him. JJ taking down Glove just by being a bit of a bush Wookie. A bush Wookie is a rare thing that you see on Purple Heart Lane. Chimera, it looks like the point has gone nice and early there for Esprit de Corps. But Chimera do have the only lads on point. As I say that, Esprit de Corps put a bit of a spawn wave in. Looks like they've got their OP that's going to be doing the bulk of the work for them there. Chimera, they really do need to push that out. Andy, Powerfish, and Jinx are going to be that front line for them. Good luck to everyone. Welcome anybody else that's in the chat. Esprit de Corps really pushing back across with the breadth of this map but at the moment. But Chimera, they are not letting this middle point die. What are you seeing on...
I feel this is going to be it for the next 80 minutes, mate. It's just going to be a meat grind almost over the entire length of the map. It's just going to be, fighting over that 20, 30, 40 meters that you get. I think everyone who's infantry here is in for possibly a good day, but probably a bad day.
Oh, I know. This is one of those maps, and I know you've played on them before. Everybody's played one of those maps where it's just constant spawn, die. All you can hope is you get more kills than you don't. But more kills than one before you die, so your KD keeps going up. Maybe you take down a garrison. Maybe you take down a little OP to try and push that tide back. But it looks like Esprit de Corps dominant on the point at the moment. Chimera really got pushed back. We're just going to swing back over the next point where Aid Station is going to be there Aid Station is going to be their next point. Whilst we're over here, Fuzz, can I get you to bring up your map? We're just going to do a little bit of a map compare. We have this scene, so I probably need to do this. I'm just going to talk over the Chimera garrisons. Very good spread of garrisons, exactly what you'd like to see. This garrison up here is really supporting their push up that right-hand side, off towards the eastern side of the map that we're talking about, and a very good spread of defensive garrisons down there. They do have a nice little attacking Gary up on the road up there, just to the side. A very good spot to be pushing off. Obviously, you're seeing the OPs. I'd like to see them a little more spread out from that, but I'm sure that's something they're working on at the moment. How are we looking at over the Esprit de Corps side, Mr. Fuzzled?
On the Esprit side, pretty much identical garrison placements. They are a little bit forward of Dubridge, however, you need that to maintain the sector control of Dubridge if Carentan Causeway falls. So almost identical. They've just received or just put up a garrison in the smack bang middle of Carentan Causeway, but thus far, no attacking pressure on Aid Station, which is to be expected. They just want to secure mid.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what we'd be looking at from this sort of, especially this early stage of the game. They just want to consolidate that mid. That said, Chimera are putting a lot of pressure on their front, aren't they? I feel like this has been very well played. Grenade going down. Looks like it was probably Castal 7's grenade. Powerfish, Poignant, Lorvain are sitting in there, just sort of putting a bit of fire in, putting that sustained pressure that we like to see. Haven't seen any tanks moved up. We did see a little bit of a Luke's up the eastern side for Chimera earlier, but armor will be a massive part. But Fuzz, if you're an armor player on Purple Heart Lane, you do tend to sit back a little bit. With those big sight lines, you do have that tendency to sit a little further back, don't you?
Yeah, you got to play it quite smart. A little bit passively at first, and then you've also got to keep track of their tanks. Really good communication, saying your blokes, yep, I've taken their medium. The heavy should be rolling out now. Keep that in mind. Just because you can be hit from God near anywhere on this map.
You can. We've just seen Panic take out one of the Esprit de Corps lads. He's going to push up against that recon spotted Knowles in a second. Nope, he's just going to sort of peek the field, see whether he can see anything. He's going to take some shots. Doesn't look like he's been effective yet. Keep moving, just sort of holding his cover, pushing up that left-hand side of their line, sorry. We do have a squad lead up here. I'm assuming he's going to be chucking a cheeky OP down on this side. That is Jam, the Chimera squad lead. Tism in support. They do have Solus Corpus and this thing. Yep.
Sorry, Tyson in support there. He gets quite antsy when his name's done wrong.
Tyson, I do apologise. I do have a tendency to say everybody's name wrong. Part of it is because Hell Let Loose does have this tendency to cut off everybody's name. Part of it is I'm a massive chongul who can't say anybody's name right. Hey, at least we don't have... Asian lettering is the one thing that I can't do in this game. It looks like Esprit de Corps have started to really consolidate over the middle, and they are starting to push out. This will be of a concern to Chimera. We do want to see them get around. That said, Chimera still with a massive presence up both flanks of this map. Exactly what you were talking about before, Fuzz, is really taking those big wide flanks, trying to get themselves into position. But the Esprit de Corps lads watching this stream will be very happy to note that they are responding very well to these Chimera flanks at the moment. Chimera, though, digging in. They are not giving up those flanks without a fight. They are pushing into the middle as well. They do have a lad on point itself. So I wonder whether Poignant was able to take out. That OP is gone from the middle of our screen. I don't know whether that was redeployed, reset by the squad lead or not. But do they still have that garrison on point, mate?
That they do. It's currently red hot at the moment, being pressured by a couple of the Chimera blokes. But we'll see if Butterdog can get in here and do some work, try and take it out.
He's going to do some murder there. He is surrounded by lads. I don't know how long he's going to stay alive now. He's going to trade with Polo Loco. Yep, Butterdog, very well played though, my friend. He was very close, so I do wonder whether he was able to hear that garrison and really point out where that garrison is for the rest of his team. That said, that deep run has really opened up the space for Chimera. They do have a few more in. Powerfish and Hollow are going to be moving in. Poignant and Jonatek are going to be in support. Hulu up on that left flank. He's going to come up against Triple J, the guy we saw just being a little bit of a ditch Wookie. Ditch Wookie? That's not even a word, but I'm going to make it a word. Ditch Wookie is definitely a thing. He's going to be a little bit of a human claymore. Artillery taking them out. Krause and Glove managed to avoid it somehow. Levain's going to die in the middle of the road, though. Butterdog's going to keep trying to continue his push-up. It's just a meat grinder, isn't it? Exactly as you called it, Fuzz. I don't know which way this one's going to go, but it looks like Esprit de Corps have started to gain some ground up this eastern side of the map.
Yeah, that they have. So even just looking here at Lupus, one of the resident MGs of Chimera, just showing off the kind of sight lines that they get and what they're faced with. So even though he can see everything, someone down there is seeing him and just giving him an absolute spray.
Oh, I don't know about you, but that is a pub match. That is a pub match special for me, is those grain silos. If you know how to get up into them, nobody in a pub match ever expects it. But also, good point, in a comp match like this, even though they're expecting it and everyone knows you can get up there, it provides those good sight lines, especially in a map like Purple Heart Lane, my friend.
Yeah, and he's shooting, 400 or 500 meters, glacking people down. When you're suppressed by that MG, you've got no hope as infantry of returning fire. You're just shooting into the wind at that point.
We're seeing a bit of dominance from here, from Esprit de Corps at the moment. They are starting to really push out in the middle. Powerfish, Jonah Tech, Andy and Hollow are going to be pushing up. Quadruple J is going to go down. His speed, Rupert and Bane are on our left flank here. Mooseman's just pushing up in a little bit of smoke. Lots of smoke going down. Exactly what you'd expect to see on a big open map like this. Rupert is in the middle of a field. It isn't the best of places. Kaonashi is going to be up on his flank. I wonder whether he's going to get a bit of a sight line to be able to murder him. You'd think he'd be able to see him from there, but it looks like he does have a little bit of a cover from grass. The biggest sort of push we've got at the moment is this left-hand flank from Chimera, really putting pressure on this Esprit de Corps side. If they can get up and around there and really sort of establish that flank, don't mind me while I sneeze, really going to put pressure on this Esprit de Corps defense. So I think this is a really good play from Chimera. It does show that they've got good communication. That said, Esprit de Corps really dominating the map at the moment, Fuzz. If you're the Chimera side, Fuzzle, if you're the Chimera commander, where do you really think you should be putting pressure on here now?
Oh, Jesus. I think it'd be kind of continuing the status quo right now. It'd be trying to hold them back in the middle and eastern sides of the map. And then really letting the guys on the west try and apply some pressure, trying to give them the opportunity to flank in, hit the point, while keeping that front door pressure and the other flank going. What I am noticing here is Esprit just seem to be mostly across the rest of the map, just winning those 1v1s, which is allowing them to advance 10, 15 meters at a time, just slowly pushing Chimera back.
Yeah, it is that grind. I think what we're looking at in the middle, this is the middle of the map. This is floating over Carentan Causeway. What we're seeing is that meat grinding you were talking about. But Chimera, they don't have that many troops sort of holding the middle at the moment. They do have a couple of squads putting pressure on and starting to push up. But that's exactly that's all they need to do. And I think exactly what you were saying is really hold them by the front and having somebody head around on the flank and punch them in the nose. That old war euphemism. Tanks are really going to work. Let's have a look. Who is that? Where was that tank? I didn't see it. That's all right. We'll get back to that at some stage in the future. What I should do is put on highlights. What I haven't done is put on highlights. What are you going to do? Goddamn, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to have you. If you're joining the stream, this is Chimera versus Esprit de Corps, week 2 of seasonals. This is the upper bracket. The winner of this will go through to the round of 16. So this is a massive match for both sides. What we're seeing is an early cap from Esprit de Corps. It was a hard-fought midpoint, but Esprit de Corps really getting some lads in to bolster those middle defenses. Cryo is going to be the commander for this Esprit de Corps side, and Mav is going to be the commander for this Chimera side. God damn, if you're joining us, I don't know whether you know this. Anybody that's ever watched this stream is just a better class of human being than anybody else on the planet. So welcome. It's a pleasure to see you around here. Thank you very much for all the follows. Thank you very much for all the subs. I love each and every one of you. You're all amazing. What are you looking at the moment, Mr. Fuzz? Anything... Have we found anything that's worth having a look at, my friend?
Well, you know me, mate. I'm a little bit of a tank simp. I like watching my metal coffins shoot things and go boom. So kind of just looking here at the Esprit 76, which is the first one they pulled out. But noticing here that he's sheltered himself from the front and is just providing a crossfire towards his troops in the middle. So even though he's over here, he's really trying to dominate that middle with his blokes. So... Yeah. And I think somewhere over here, if we go to mugshot, just breeze through, there is a tank, a P4 over here. I probably wager they don't know it's a 76, but they'd be trying to get that tank kill or at least spot it for their heavy crew anyway.
Yeah, really showing some of that good communication between the side, isn't it? Obviously, tank callouts are an absolutely massive part of communicating with your team. And the fact that, look, they're tank hunting. They're hunting a 76 with a P4. Not ideal, but I'm sure they'll back that up with a Tiger as soon as they get a chance. Big spawn wave we've just seen from Chimera. It looks like Esprit de Corps are all over it, though. Chimera getting steadily pushed back through the middle here. Nothing too fancy going down there. Poignant Powerfish, Hollow and Andy are going to be the tip of the spear for this sort of middle push from Chimera. They do have his speed on their right. It's going to be Ben and Kobu moving up through the middle. Hollow and Andy are the last ones left. Esprit de Corps really dominating the middle at the moment. But exactly as you were saying, does look like Chimera are sort of committing more of their forces to these big wide flanks at the moment. They are gaining some ground, but it is a lot of backwards and forwards. And it's exactly as you were calling it before, Fuzz. It is just gunfights, isn't it? It's the ability of one squad to kill the other, take out an OP, gain that little bit of ground, grind it that little bit further forward, and then keep moving. It
100%.
Looks like Chimera do have this left flank. There is Jam and Panic, the lads we were looking at before. Tysum, was it Tysum? Tism.
Yeah, Tysum.
Tysum, I'm going to say that wrong a billion times. Bubbles is the squad leader. So we've got at least 2 squads up on this left one. Joe, Jaeger, Glennar are going to be up there defending. Panic's going to go down before I get back to him. Joe's going to go down. That's the commentator's curse right there. Kiwi's up in support with that machine gun. Easton is up on their flank as the sniper, though. You'd expect him to start putting rounds down Chimera's way. This is the western flank, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is exactly what we're talking about. Big flanks from Chimera and a big force from Esprit de Corps sitting on the midpoint at the moment. It looks like they are going with that bit of that shotgun approach now. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take many Chimera to hold them back because they will have to push across, but there is a lot of smoke going down there. Hollow's going to take advantage of that and gain a little bit of ground. It's if he can get in behind those lines and sort of swing back and start murdering some of these Esprit de Corps guys, that will mean they will get pushed back a little bit. God damn it. Subscribe with Prime. I love you. Sunbro Solitaire, thank you very much. I appreciate all the dollary dues. I can't say it. You don't need to spend money here. You should probably go buy, instead of spending money here, go buy your mum flowers. Go buy your missus flowers. If you don't have one of them, go buy one of your mates' flowers. I don't know. I'd appreciate a good bunch of flowers from one of my mates. But since you did spend your hard-earned dollars here, thank you very much. I appreciate you. I love you. You're amazing. Let's go.
Guy as well. He just subscribes with Prime as well, just a few minutes ago.
God as well, dude. Thank you very much. You guys are genuinely some of the best people. We did see OP, one of the OP BHB guys, OP guys, I don't have to put the BHB bit in there, but Firefighter subscribed from before. Bombing run going in. I'm going to go ahead and assume that's the ESPT bombing run going in. Just really cleaning up some of that Chimera push that we're seeing through the middle. It is still just a grind fest, isn't it? Let's get over to Stormtrooper, because this is the recon players just sort of cruising out here, doing little recon things, being a nuisance. They do have quite a few lads in their backline. Tell you what,
yeah, I
Fuzz.
was just having a look at that. So if you cut to me, you can see just how wide Esprit has had to flank here to try and establish some backline pressure. They've had to flank right down here. I'm assuming it was an airhead and I've missed it. Sorry for that. But Esprit getting in, and they're going to have to walk all the way from one side of the map to the other to cap. But that's what you need to do to try and get around teams on Purple Heart Lane.
Yeah, we're coming up to 25 minutes gone in this match, and that's a good thing to remember, is these matches go for an hour and a half. This is an hour and a half you have to run around. This is an hour and a half you have to find yourself a position. We are expecting this one to go 3-2. We're not expecting some of those big stomps that we've seen sometimes in the past from Chimera. Obviously, they're playing a very quality side, a very high quality side this week. So we're not expecting to see that massive walkover that we have seen from Chimera in the past. That said, this backline will be of concern, won't it?
Yeah,
for
it's something that Chimera is responding to at the moment.
Yep.
So it's almost like a little mini battle within the battle itself, you know? 2 to 3 squad leads on each side, just trying to really force these guys out or get further across.
Yeah, both we're seeing both Stormtrooper and Knowles, the recon players for this ESPT side. They are starting to push up. They're playing both of their recon squads very aggressively. Look, love to see it. And that's one of the things I like to see about this new Arty meta is one of those recon squads would normally be tasked to suppressing artillery. And the fact that the artillery is unkillable now means they don't. It means every single one of these infantry is put on the offense, which is really good to see, and one of the good things about that rule. That said, you were absolutely right, Fuzz. Chimera have responded very well to this backline pressure. They do have a lot of lads back, and we'll see how that works out for them. Let's get over to the middle and just see sort of how this mid-fight's going. Look, I think it's pretty much status quo. I don't think we're going to see much change from this, exactly as you called it, Fuzz. It's just going to be a meat grinder, and this is just Chimera trying to hold ESPT exactly where they want them so they can let those flanking squads get around. And I'll tell you what, let's move over to that now. Let's go have a look at that western flank. If you can have a look at Carentan Causeway is the point up in the distance. Now Chimera have decided they've got far enough around. They will start to push in. As I said, Panic goes down as well. It was one of his mates on the right-hand side. Bubbles dying as well. Tyson's going to be the last one there. Jaeger's going to sit up there. Jam's just spawned in as well. So Jam will try and take down Jaeger, the AT lad. He's going to get into the bushes. Let's get nice and close. He's not going to get the shot off before Jaeger manages to brutally murder him. T-Ram's back in support. He's the machine gun player. Just sort of trying to use those sight lines, as we keep saying. Big sight lines on Purple Heart Lane. Not that much cover through these fields. You'd expect them to be really picking their way through these canals. Sort of sneaking up, finding a place where they can get a good artillery doing some work. Delicious. Glove's going to go down before he makes too much of an effect. Lorvain, Jonatek, and Prowse still pushing up. Chimera look like they sort of, well, as I say that, I was going to say Chimera look like they've started to gain a little more ground, but every single one of those lads that were forward got brutally murdered by artillery. It looks like Jonatek and Lorvain are probably moving into exactly where that artillery gun's aimed. We're expecting another explosion very shortly. We do have a sort of a mini flank coming up that way. Both a mini flank and a sort of defensive line along this little... If you have a look at this roadway, is a good approach into the next point, which is Aid Station, if I'm not mistaken. It is Aid Station is the next defensive point for Chimera. So Boydner doing some work. He is on the offensive squad, as we were saying before, but is pretty keen to hold that defensive line. Powerfish copping a lot of fire there. I'm assuming that's Burger, the machine gunner, just providing a bit of crossfire. Tian Strike is the tip of the spear, backed up by his speed for ESPT. Band's in support as well. Lorvain is the squad leader that's sort of on their sort of bottom flank there. That said, every single one of them is going to get brutally murdered. Boynton's going to spawn back in. Let's see how he goes this time. This is a grind for Chimera. I don't know which way this game's going to go. We've coming up to half an hour gone in this match, Fuzz. This is still anybody's game. Obviously, with down 3-2, Fuzz, Chimera have all the work to do. But can you see them coming back from this?
Look, I think if there are any hopes of doing it in the next hour, one or two things needs to happen.
Yep.
Either they need to gain tank superiority over on the eastern flank. Currently, Esprit are up 2 heavies to none.
Yep.
And then secondly, they need to clear their back line. Stephen, give them a chance to push forward. You got to clear your backyard first.
Yeah, exactly. If you're constantly worried about like a double box Gary going up behind you or more airheads that are covered by infantry, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. That said,
Yeah,
yep.
not even to that extreme. Even just getting shot from 2 angles and getting pinched in on,
Yep.
you know, that's the worst thing because it's almost guaranteed your OP will get wiped.
Yeah, I completely agree, Fuzz. We're just going to look over Aid Station at the moment. Can I get you to look over the middle with your camera? And we'll just see if we can cover both of these. But it does look like Esprit de Corps are starting to pick up and starting to push Aid Station. Chimera are starting to defend a lot deeper than I'm sure they'd like to. This right-hand flank isn't going that well for them. They did have an early advantage of numbers there. That said, not that many Esprit de Corps players are on this right-hand flank. So big explosion there. What did we just see go down? That's going to be an Esprit de Corps tank. It looks like their aid station, their repair station just got deleted. This is the 76 from Esprit de Corps. Just sitting up in that ditch. Makes it a little bit harder to hit. Rocket's going to be ineffective from Chimera. Butters and Eddie are sitting in the Esprit de Corps tank. It's currently being repaired by Ares. Artillery does look like it's got it mainly zeroed in. That was not quite exactly where it needed to be. That rocket just missing, just clipping too low. Lots of fire from the 76 going in. Sort of being like a little mobile turret whilst it gets repaired now. Still anybody's match, but I think you're right, Fuzz. This tank dominance from this Esprit de Corps side is proving absolutely huge for them at the moment. They've got this 76 that's nice and far forward, and that'll give their infantry, when they finally make it back up there, something to work off. And they do have that 76 in more of a defensive position, off towards the right of our screen. We can't quite see it where we are, but it is off to the right somewhere. If it shoots, we'll be able to see it again. It's not going to shoot, is it? No, of course it's not. Welcome anybody else that's joining. Pleasure to have you. Hope you're all having a genuinely wonderful day. We're watching Esprit de Corps versus Chimera. Esprit de Corps currently up 3-2 and really exerting some map pressure at the moment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to swing back over the middle of the map, just sort of see how we're doing. This is the back line we were talking about before. That's the squatter the squatter, the spotter, Stormtrooper, and his sniper Easton really putting some pressure on this Chimera flank. And if they can stay there, that is going to really impede Chimera's ability to push up the middle of the road. The middle of the road is exactly what we're going to be flying over now. Really sort of give you an idea what Chimera needs to push through to get to Carentan Causeway. And that's the reason that they haven't had that much pressure on the middle, is they're just trying to hold them. They have been trying to take the flanks. That said, that big flank that we were seeing off towards the western side does look like it's come to an end at the moment. Chimera push back across the line, across the map. Fuzz, as a commander, as the squad leads talking to each other at the moment, you're really trying to re-establish that battle line, aren't you? Really try and start probing, figuring out where you can push.
Yep, it's all right now. I'm sure these blokes know exactly where the weak points are, where the strong points are. It's just about keeping your line while also trying to probe them. Another thing is just I'm big on the positivity, keeping your guys' heads in the fight. If their heads start to drop, you're just going to get pushed back and you're going to start to get angry. Got to keep positive in these kind of situations.
Yeah, 100% you do. It's really sort of keeping that composure, knowing that you have a plan, sticking to it, listening to your command, listening to your squad leads and going, right, this is how we're going to gain control back. And then with that sort of current battle line meta, we're seeing those two lines push against each other. Speaking of which, let's pull up the map, my friend, and let's compare what each side's doing currently. So I'll start with the Chimera side. As we can see, they do have those defensive Garys still over aid station at the moment. We do have that wide flanking Gary that we are seeing some large spawn waves from them, just sort of trying to exert dominance and trying to take back some control over ESPT over the middle. That defensive Gary is sitting nice and deep over that middle point. And we are seeing that very, very good Chimera battle line there. How are we looking at from the ESPT side?
On the Esprit side, pretty much no pressure on their backside by Chimera, so they've largely just moved up their forces.
Yep.
Of note is currently, I think it's 3 heavy tanks to 1 or 2, with the 3 heavy tanks, 1 controlling main road and 2 pushing onto aid station, providing infantry support. What we've also got to note is down in this little corner, they've done a real good job. Even though the garrison got found, they've established another one. They're taking out a rear Gary and they're just keeping moving forward.
That's absolutely huge for a speeder corps, isn't it? Look, Chimera, I don't know whether they know it yet, but they do. Having 2 Garys behind your battle line, that'll hurt them. It'll be incumbent on them to really call it out and find them. Yep.
Yeah, having this garrison back here in E8, that'll be something that I'm sure will be brought up in the post-match going, fuck, we should have seen that coming.
Yeah, exactly. But look, good luck to them. I hope they can really pull this one back. I don't want to see this game go 5-0. I want to see this. I want to see Chimera start to come back and really try and dominate this point. Look, it's hard for them though. They are getting pushed back consistently across the map. They are starting to defend very, very deep on aid station. Have a look at that. Shaka Zulu has got himself a nice advanced position. That said, aid station, very hard spot to take, because if we get down nice and close, they really do have just those sort of canals as cover. And they won't have the ability to really break cover and make those big runs. Coca Banana is going to sit back. We've got Crystal 7. Oh, try and wrap your mouth around that, ladies and gentlemen. That's what she said. Power Fish and Coco Banana. Andy and PTS Free, they're going to be defensive, but this is a good push from ESPT. Very, very offensive. I like where their head's at. There you go, one of them going down there. Shaka Zulu is going to be the last one left alive. Andy, Coco Banana, and Powerfish really sitting in defense. They've identified this sort of group of buildings as the last little area that they'll be able to defend. They're going to sit nice and deep and see whether they can get some fire onto this ESPT side. Looks like Chimera really pushed back to that sort of bridge area back here. Jinx, Kanadash, and Jonatech are sitting across this side of the bridge at the moment. Jonatech with the assault class, unable to be effective there. Dude, 4Js, that man has always been. He's been in the thick of it every time we've got to know how to look. Jinx going down there to our right. Hula's going to be in defense as well as the squad lead. Somebody delete that comment. Thank you very much, Nicholas. I am just seeing some ESPD dominance at the moment. I'd almost see aid stations start to be contested if they keep putting this consistent and sustained pressure on it at the moment. Chimera, look, all credit to them. They are fighting tooth and nail to try and hold on to this one. But ESPT just winning too many gunfights across at the moment. Let's get down and have a look at what we're seeing here. The 76 is pushing up nice and deep. Look, a 76, there's not too much infantry can do to the front of that tank, is there, Fuzz, if I'm not mistaken? Most of them will be ricochets from the front, won't they?
Yeah, it'll be, unless they're on an AT gun, the best thing they can do is spot it and let their tanks know
Yep.
where it is, where it's facing. That's all they can really do.
Yep, we did just see either an AT gun shoot over there. I'll tell you what, though. Butters has gone down whilst he was trying to repair. Clownface is going to be the support troop, just using that tank as a little bit of cover, pushing very deep into aid station now. He is the last infantry, so if that infantry goes down, that tank will be without support. That said, you won't need support if he murders everyone. Clownface going down there. Mav is going to be the commander. He's not much he's going to be able to do about that. He's just going to sort of cruise in behind the tank. He's going to feel pretty safe there. DV's with the machine gunner. He's going to get brutally murdered in the face before we get out there. But that's going to be concerning for this Chimera side. Obi's going to go down as well. This 76 is running raucous in the back lines. Something just exploded there. I didn't see what it was. We're going to have to wait for the smoke to clear to see exactly what that 76 just murdered. It's going to be an AT gun, so that AT gun's not going to cause us issues anymore. I feel like that's a little bit of irony for you. An anti-tank gun getting taken out by a tank. But 76 is just going to continue its push up. What do you got, my friend?
This 76 is about to just run head first into this Tiger, unfortunately showing its ass.
Ooh, is it now?
So yes, they went with their ruthless aggression, just pushing in, trying to clear spawns and all that. But it might cost them a 76 here.
Interested to see how this. We're going to stick with you and just see how this one pans out. Looks like Chimera do have another AT gun planned down. Tiger looks like it's facing the wrong way, though. I'm wondering how this fight's going to go. Surely they've seen it now.
Miss there. Yeah.
Both tanks ineffective so far. Tiger versus 76. Looks like the Tiger's going to get on the back of this 76. That'll be huge for them. They're going to get stuck on a tree. Oh, not paying enough attention. Turn around. Yeah. This could be huge. The outcome of this tank battle could be absolutely goddamn massive.
Yeah. I'm sure that that 76 is well aware of what he's run into now, and he's a bit no shit mode.
Yep, running a little bit scared now. I'm going to flick back to the main car. That 76 is going to go down. Whew. That was a bit of a scare for Chimera. That 76 running raucous around their point would have been absolutely terrifying for them. But it looks like they managed to deal with that. They have taken back a little bit of sector control around the point now. So well done to them. Really responding to that Tiger very, very well. Welcome in everybody that's joining. It's a pleasure to see you. It is. What is it? It's an afternoon. It's a Sunday afternoon in Melbourne now. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you no matter what time zone you're in. I appreciate seeing you guys around here. We are about 53 minutes left to go in this match, and it is still Esprit de Corps really exerting some dominance over this at the moment. They do have a good surround on this aid station point now. As we see, that's a support lad, and nothing too fancy. Nothing too fancy? What are you talking about? That is a massive flank for somebody called Nothing Too Fancy. Keep running in, you good lad. It looks like DV is going to be the machine gunner on his right flank. I don't know whether he knows he's there. Probably not looking out that way. He's not expecting that Esprit de Corps push onto his left flank. But not going to wait to see how that fight goes out because we've got the rest of the war to look at. Esprit de Corps still really pushing out that main road at the moment. Songjang and Show Me Mercy Artillery is going to be out there. Jimmy the Hand is going to go down before we get to talk about him. Jungos is the last Chimera lad, really pushing onto and putting pressure onto this Esprit de Corps push around the backside now. Just utter map dominance at the moment from Esprit de Corps. Chimera, they need to dig deep. Chimera need to find some way back into this. They do have this little flank going here, but that said, that's just Jam and Tyson against, look, what's that? 2 on their right flank and 4 up on their left flank. Good spawn wave we've just seen from Chimera go in there. That OP is absolutely doing its work. What do you got, Mr. Fuzz?
Yeah, I've just been watching this little flank for the last minute. It's been just trades back and forth, and here we've got some of Chimera's more aggressive players, Jam, Diesel, Panic, well-known names within OCE, and maybe even some people in NA know them. They were able to take out the garrison, but unfortunately just got killed off it. Kiwi from Esprit over here with the MG, he can just look over the whole push, see when they're coming, and even if he can't shoot them, he's just letting his mates know, hey, there's one pushing in now, hey, the OP just spawned, stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's what we've seen the machine gun use from Chimera. We've seen Chimera use the machine guns very, very well this match. It's probably what's been keeping him in this game at the moment. Yeah, completely agree. Esprit de Corps, they're playing one hell of a brand of hell let loose at the moment, aren't they, Fuzz?
Yeah, that they are. This is just very, very clinical from them. yeah, it's been absolute pleasure to watch it. I'm loving it. I got a massive smile on my face. I don't know if it's coming across in the commentary, but
Oh,
yeah,
no.
it's a great game so far.
It absolutely is, and this is why I love casting these seasonal matches. Look, the quality of gameplay we expect and we've seen from these seasonal matches so far has been absolutely amazing. Chimera, still all the work to go. 50 minutes left to go in this match. They are fighting tooth and nail against this esprit de corps side, but I'll tell you what, they have a good surround on Aid Station now, don't they? This is
Yeah.
this is going to be very big trouble for Chimera. They have to dig deep. They have to find some way to push off this esprit de corps offense. They are winning some of the gunfights. Watchman did a bit of work before he got brutally murdered. Tan, Strike, and Excel are going to be tip of the spear for this ESPT side. Lupus is going to murder T and Strike there, so well done to him. Excel's going to be the squad lead. I'm sure he's got his OP down. Flares, as you can see them, those flares are going to be... I always get this wrong. Red flares are the Axis flares, whereas green flares are the allied flares. So that was a Chimera flare that we were just looking at. It is the opposite with tracer bullets. I don't know whether you knew that,
Yeah,
Fuzz.
it's a little
Tracer bullets.
A little bit of a, question mark there. Bit of RP realism, some people might say.
Get out of it. But I always like to think it's like Star Wars with the tracers. The bad guys have the green tracers and the good guys have the red tracers.
I like that.
Yep, it's the opposite with flares. Just remember that one when you're seeing some of the flashy, glowy bits all over the screen. Rocket snipe going out. I don't know where that one was going. That was a flare. Never mind. I thought it was a rocket snipe. Flare going up again. That obviously, we're seeing Shaz is going to be the bit of a flare monkey. Defensive spotter. Flare monkey. Best name ever. That's all I've done whenever I've played defensive recon is redeploy, flare, pick up box, flare, pick up box, flare, redeploy. What are we looking at? Ig Nicholas, how's chat doing at the moment, my friend? Are we? Is everybody up and about it? Are we happy to be watching this match today?
Yeah, we had a bit of a hiccup when we had the Cfuzzled overlay over for an extended period of time, but everything seems to be fine now. So, yeah, looking pretty good.
If that's the only time this happens this match, I will be genuinely surprised. Don't worry. I do press the buttons and sometimes I get it wrong, but I'm pretty sure you guys are used to that by now. We're just seeing a determined defense of Aid Station from Chimera at the moment. Fuzz, can I get you to have a look at any sort of flank that Chimera's got at the moment? And when you're over there, we'll get over there and have a quick look at what's going on.
Yeah, so once again, it's just that Bubbles and Jam. Unfortunately, they're suffering kind of the same fate that their comrades over in Aid Station are suffering, where they're just getting encircled. So you got Wombolo here with his squad coming up, and then you've got Glennar coming in the back door, shutting them down.
Yep. As we flick back to Aid Station again, we're seeing a determined and deep defense from Chimera. They are absolutely not willing to give this point up without a fight. Whew. I still wouldn't call it, but we're going to give, not only are they up 3-2, we're going to give Esprit de Corps the absolute advantage. We just saw a gang with a massive rocket there, got followed up with a cheeky little bit of artillery. That's going to be the end of that push from ESPT on that side. So very, very good defense from Chimera, really spotting out those troops and really making sure they get enough kills to keep them in the match. Big Swarm Wave goes in, though. They weren't able to take down, is it a garrison or is it an OP? Looks like it's an OP they're spawning off there. So just the one squad. Artillery is going to make short work of one of them. Cobra is going to go down to Jinx, it looked like. T and Strike and US Ranger are going to be the last ones. US Ranger going down to probably Jinx or Diesel. And T and Strike's going to clean up the rest of the rubbish. Excel and Songjang are going to spawn in support now, and they're going to keep putting that sustained pressure that I keep banging on about on Aid Station. Hell of a match so far. Hell of a lot of match still to go as we come up to 45 minutes left in this one. I'm not going to call it, but that said, ESPT, they are looking very strong, not only in this match, but in this seasonal competition. And I think you were right, Fuzz. Talking about ESPT, they have been a massive force, not only in the NA region, but in this seasonal competition at large, haven't they?
Yeah, that they have. They've been versing Chimera for quite long. They've been real gracious in that, opening up to OCE communities in particular, being like, hey, we'll play some games against you. But maybe it was just a clever ploy by them, so they have some other people to shit on. I'm not too sure. I'll say that in jest. It's I say it in jest. It's a joke.
No, if you're a good Hell Let Loose clan, the best thing you can do is start playing against some of the other best teams in the world. And I think both Esprit de Corps and Chimera have done the right thing by doing that. We're seeing a tank. Now, I don't know whether you know this, Fuzz, and this is for anybody doing the drink. I know it's a bit early in Australia, but anybody doing the drinking game out there, the TraumaStoo drinking game, I don't know whether you know this, Fuzz, but tanks are not supposed to be on fire like that.
Yeah, I kind of thought that. Maybe they did it, to look cool to intimidate some of the Chimera players, but I don't think blowing up like that.
They're probably going to be 100% less effective now that they are in pieces and have been exploded. So well done for Chimera. Once again, dealing one of the 76ers. We have seen that a bit. Tan Strike going down on that left flank at the moment. On the left side of your screen, the right flank of Chimera. Looks like US Rangers still pushing up. Chimera really struggling to deal with this. Artillery is going to probably do some work there. That OP is still up, so we're going to see a spawn wave shortly from this Esprit de Corps side. They are dying. Yeah. Chimera dealing with it. Yep, what do you got, Fuzz?
So just to mention, looking at some of the players in here on this flank for Chimera, the players we mentioned before, like Jam, Tyson, all that, they've had to redeploy back to aid station just because they've recognised the threat here is too great for them to keep trying on their flank. We need bodies back here defending.
Yep. And we've seen. Have a look at this. Have a look at this. This is the Esprit de Corps side. They are just pushing. There's only that one sort of spot that Chimera can put artillery for the moment. So with those artillery rules, obviously they can only use the one gun. So they can only have that gun set up in one spot. It does take a little bit of time to sort of repoint that gun somewhere else. I wonder whether that Chimera lab was able to get that OP down. He was not. It's going to keep doing its work there. They are being covered by artillery, but all they need to do is really keep spawning, see if they can get away from that artillery enough to get some firing lines on this Chimera side. Chimera, they are a banger of a side, and the fact that Esprit de Corps are starting to cap this next point just shows how good this ESPT side is. We've seen Chimera play many a match on this channel. Okay, I think it's probably the second time I've ever watched Chimera, but it is a pleasure to be back. But we've seen them be dominant every time we've seen them play. The fact that they're being pushed back and aid station is being capped just shows how good the quality of competition they're facing in this seasonal competition is.
Yeah, and all it's really come down to is just Esprit just winning those gunfights. Yes, they were able to flank, but they were only able to do that because they were winning the gunfights, gaining the ground, and slowly moving forward in a coordinated effort.
Yep, and that's a very good point. You can have the best shooters in the world. You can have the best commander in the world, but if your shooters aren't up to the task to really take care of those orders and follow up on what the commander needs you to do, and kill a bunch of people along the way, you're not going to win anything. We're seeing this flank really come to fruition now. They have encircled around the south. You'd expect Father Pig to really sort of push up. So I'm going to say he's probably going to get an OP down as soon as he gets a spot where he's able to do it. This would be the perfect spot. That artillery is still pushing up there. Maybe he's already got it down. Maybe he's going to keep pushing.
Yeah, so he's got it just probably 100 meters behind him in a little bit more of a passive sense. But I reckon once he makes his death run across the creek here, he'll put it down if he doesn't get killed, that is.
Yep, defensive waves we've just seen from Chimera coming back to start capping this one back. They're digging deep, Chimera. We expect nothing less from one of our Aussie and or OCE and or wherever everybody else is from clans. They are digging deep to try and defend this one. What do we got? Father Pig, he's just going to sort of hold this line. He's going to get brutally murdered by Hollow, so that was very, very good, meaning he can't get that OP up behind the lines there. US Ranger's going to push in support as well. Lost that loving feeling, I'm assuming. This is ESPT. They have a very good flank going on at the moment. Chimera need to push out and really need to start dealing with this pressure if they're going to have any impact on this match. Flare's going up. That flare will miss most of the guys that are moving around to the south, but that's all right. Ooh. Fuzz, what do you do from here? How do you try and push this out? I can't see how they're going to be able to do this, my friend.
Yeah, realistically, I'm thinking the same thing here. Me personally, I've said this before, you got to clear your back lines. You got to look at your back of house, get that cleaned out, which they're starting to do. We see Andy taking down areas. Then you just got to start getting some distance between yourself and some of the Esprit players. Start winning those gunfights. That's the big one. Start rolling your tanks in and killing their tanks. because for the last 15 or so minutes, Esprit have just had 276ers sitting in the backfield, just raining down all matters
Bombing
of heaven
run
and hell.
going in. Bombing run going in. I'm assuming that's the Esprit de Corps bombing run. That's going to clean up the bulk of this Chimera defense. That was huge in terms of that. Let's just have a quick look at what we're looking at in terms of Gary. They don't have one on, they don't have a garrison on aid station now. That was a massive bombing run. They do have all their OP still up, but nothing on aid station as well. This is the time that ESPT can really push in and take advantage of that bombing run from the commander. So very well played from ESPT. That was huge. Chimera really starting to spawn on those OPs to try and get back in, but ESPT taking advantage of that, and they have dominance over aid station now. Oh, this is trouble for Chimera, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That bombing run was, textbook perfect. Took out the garrison, took out some troops as well, which is always an added bonus, keeping the commander's KD all right. But yeah, it just lets them get that 20 meters forward. It gets high speed across the bridge. Gets his squad across the bridge.
That said, Chimera responding very well. They've cleaned out a lot of the lads that got into the ESPT lads that got into the point. Chimera have started a cap on Carentan Causeway. I didn't expect that. I was not looking at that part of the map at all because I thought it was all focused down this way. But it's
just
currently
over
contested.
there now.
Yeah, if you could.
Over there now. It's just Bubbles and co. So getting in. I don't know if they walked around or whatever. I don't know if they've got a red zone, Gary. You could probably check that. But yeah, now we've got some of Chimera's best shooters doing their thing, getting on the point.
No garrison. They do have a cheeky little offensive OP right behind the point there. ESPT have started to get pushed back by Chimera. They might have seen that cap on Carentan Causeway. They might have seen that cap and got a little bit worried. Once you see that middle point getting contested, that taking that back after they've just spent the majority of this game defending it, it could be absolutely brutal. Fuzz, I'll get you over there and just let me know how they're doing. If we're seeing Chimera absolutely dominate, we might flick over there and have a look at that. But this match continues to surprise. I wonder, do we see a Chimera airhead going in there just to sort of bolster that squad that's in there? Or do we see a little more of a conservative play from this Chimera commander? I'm interested to see. I'll be keeping my eyes to the sky to try and make sure we catch that because I do have a habit of missing every single airhead that happens. Chimera defending over aid station at the moment. Looks like they're still contesting the next point, which is Carentan Causeway. Let's switch over to Fuzz and have a look at what's happening over there. Important to note, when we flick over to Fuzz's screen, the red berries will be Chimera, which is the exact opposite that we're seeing on my screen. So keep that in mind when we flick over there. This is still anybody's match. What do you got, Fuzz?
Yeah, they were able to take the garrison down on point. Panic was able to get that. But we're seeing large reinforcements by Esprit coming back. They know if they lose Carentan Causeway, it might lose in the match.
Yeah, they did have a very good...
Yeah, you've got to hold that midpoint. Doesn't matter about aid station. You can't take it if you don't have Carentan Causeway.
Yeah, and it looks like they do have enough lads back there to try and defend that now. So, look, very well done to them. Very, very well done to them. I was a little worried for this ESP defense, but it looks like they did manage to pull enough off offense to try and sort of claw that back from Chimera. But that said, I like this from Chimera, Fuzz. I like the fact that, look, they were losing. They were starting to lose this aid station point, but they had the presence of mind to really get that offensive flank on and start to put a little bit of pressure on this ESPC side. We've just seen Prowse get a rocket into that 76 there. It is smoked up, but it is on fire. Prowse will probably try and get a few more rockets in before he's done. 76. That's going to be crewed by Mars Rover and Crowd Killer. Don't know who the third person in that tank is, but that 76 really sort of getting start getting a push back now. What did we just see? Nope, I thought we saw some sort of tank hit behind there, but that's all right. That 76, it's going to put its ass towards the Chimera side, and it's going to start pushing back. No more rockets coming this way.
What I'm loving here from the Chimera guys as a whole is, yes, they were losing A station, and most teams and most commanders in that instance go, fuck it, get back on defense, just leave your OPs there. They've decided, we'll roll the dice, we'll put Esprit into the reactionary position for once, start putting a bit of pressure on and see what they do. And it probably relieves some of the pressure off aid station and has allowed them to solidify a bit.
Yep, that said, this sustained pressure is starting to come. That sustained pressure on aid station for ESPT is really starting to come to fruition as well. We did see the point just contested and being capped a little bit. They are very deep on there at the moment. Chimera really do need to dig deep again. This match has just become... Chimera have broken it wide open. We're just going to fly from aid station out towards the rest of this Chimera blob out in the moment and just sort of see how it's happening out in the middle. Looks like Carentan Causeway has been mostly cleaned up. They do have that Chimera squad that is spawning in behind, but ESPT, good bunch of lads back. Good bunch of lads back to try and defend now. They are aware. It does look like they are aware of where this Chimera push is coming from, and they are going to keep pushing. I wonder, do Chimera really keep this sustained pressure here to keep the pressure off aid station, or do they flip around and try and find another angle in? A lot of gunfights just being wid. Father Pig just going down from the ESPT side. Tell you what, ESPT are starting to cap aid station. We've got to get back over there and have a look at it. Big spawn waves, big waves of infantry we're seeing over aid station at the moment. Carentan Causeway is contested going back. I don't think I can call these points. They're constantly being defended, contested, taken. I don't think I can call it, Fuzz. I'm just going to...
Yeah, it's looking dire there for a Chimera on aid station, halfway cap now. So we see a bombing run. I'm pretty sure it's a Chimera one come through.
It's huge. Chimera bombing run trying to clean up. It was largely ineffective there. I don't think the commander realised how deep this ESPT side was on aid station. They have a very good looking push on there now, don't they? This is going to be tough. This is going to be very tough for Chimera to push back in and try and take this one back from them. Ooh. I think we're going to see this one flip 4-1 going ESPT side, ESPT's way.
Yeah, 100%. They've got 2 tanks in there. They're rolling them across the bridge, getting across that gain line, so to speak. This will forward a spree unless some drastic action is done or a miracle happens.
Yeah, I think so. We need something from Chimera. We know he's already used his bombing run, which is exactly the one thing that would probably gain him a little more of advantage by taking out those lads over the middle. Very good push from ESPT against this tough Chimera side. I've loved what I've seen from them. That said, once they do take that one in a couple of seconds, Chimera do have a good counter flank to try and push their way back in. So they do have the ability to take this one back. But that said, they're going to need less of their guys to die. And now that ESPT are deep on the point and really holding the sector around aid station, it is going to be tough for these Chimera lads to get back. But we know they can do it. If any team in the OCE region can do it, we know it's Chimera. Still anybody's game. Just going to say to everybody in chat, welcome. Hope you're having a wonderful day. This is currently 4-1 to ESPT over Chimera on Purple Heart Lane night. Hope you're enjoying yourselves. Thank you very much for all the subs. That was Skeek. Skeeker looks like he's just chucked his Prime sub at me as well. Thank you very much. I love you. You're amazing. The support I get around this channel is like nothing else I could imagine. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you. And I don't know whether you know this. I don't know whether you know this, Fuzz, but people that subscribe to this channel are statistically 97% better looking than the rest of the internet. Statistically, it's not hard because the internet's full of fat people and neckbeards, but statistically, they're better looking than that. And you can actually use that on your Tinder profile to guarantee more matches.
I thought it was everyone who subscribed. They just instantly increased their KD by 2, mate.
Yeah, because they can watch me play a normal stream and see how not to play Hell Let Loose. Exactly. I'll tell you what, ESPT, they do have a bit of a cap on this last. They did start contesting Cabbage Patch. We're going to get back over there and stop talking shit and see what this Chimera defense is looking like. ESPT's pushing nice and deep. This will start worrying this Chimera side. They wanted to get that early cap back onto... Cap back. They wanted to get that early cap back onto aid station, but once they've seen that sort of be contested a little bit, they'll start getting a little worried. They won't know. It's really easy for us, isn't it, Fuzz, to see, no, there's only 2 guys there's only 2 of these ESPT team up there. But they won't know that. They won't know that it's not the entire ESPT side that might have got a cheeky airhead in. But
yeah,
look, they are
not at all.
Yeah,
I've got to give a shout out here to Solus Corpus. He's been an absolute rat in the back line. He's been pestering some of Chimera's defenses for the best part of 45 minutes. He's just been constantly in behind, keeping himself alive. He's done really well, just as like that kind of pseudo recon squad leader of staying alive, getting his OP down, and making sure that he gets his 5-man off it.
This is a real Spec Ops role for him, isn't it? He's going to come up against Watchmen. He's going to get brutally murdered by DV before that fight happens. But that's your man, Solus Corpus, getting brutally murdered. That you can chalk that one. That's one for you for the Caster's Curse. Well done.
Yeah, I feel a bit sorry about that one.
Good Lord. Discords have been posted. I love the self-promotion. That was one of my mods posting that, though. So if you're in the NA region, I'm sure Esprit de Corps would be probably pretty happy to have new people hanging around their Discord and talking shit with them. And same goes for Chimera. They are two very, very good communities. If you're new to the Hell Let Loose community, I can almost guarantee that they'd be pretty happy to see new people around. And it's one thing I really love about this Hell Let Loose community, Fuzz, is they're just so accepting of new people and really willing to grab and drag new people into the fold. It's sort of that feeling that the more people that play, the better the competition is and the more fun everyone has.
Yeah, dead set. Everything's better with more people usually. So having more people interested and wanting to play just makes everything that much better, that much more exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing some big spawn waves from ESPT, exactly what you'd expect. Once they've taken this point, they really want to consolidate this point at the moment. They really want to get around it, sort of start pushing out that cap pressure and start that grind again. Chimera, I guess what they need to do, Fuzz, is they really need to... I'm going to delete that one. Sorry, just doing my own mod work for once, Iggy.
You're right.
I saw that one in the corner of my eye and going, nah, we're deleting the living shit out of that comment. Please, if you're talking in chat, we do have to stick to Twitch terms of service because I like having my channel operational. It means if we don't have bad stuff happen in chat, it means I get to keep casting these matches and it means I get to keep hanging out with you guys. Woo!
What's it looking like the fuel situation for Chimera over there, Stu?
That's a good point. If you want to bring up your map, we can have a look at, not that one, that's the wrong freaking scene. We're going to have a look at this. The fuel situation for Chimera, 220, so they are a little bit on the low side. How's ESPT looking?
They're at 380, but they've just rolled out their third heavy tank. So I don't know what the tanks are looking like for Chimera, but as I said at the start, getting that tank dominance really has put Esprit in the driver's seat for 90% of this game.
Good lord. Whilst we're on this map screen, let's have a look at what the garrison situation's looking like. We've got a deep defensive Gary for Chimera sitting on Cabbage Patch itself. And we've got those two flanking Garys. Nothing forward. Most of the forward push look like it's being worked off this line of OPs that we're seeing at the moment. And the rest is going to be HQs. What are we looking at from ESPT, my friend?
But for Esprit, they've got their kind of forward defensive Garys on Quarantine Causeway, near identical to where they were surrounding Dove Bridge. They've got their main one on Aid Station, a little bit of a backup one as well. No red zone Garys because it's quite hard to get them with only 2 squares to maneuver in.
Yeah,
and then just
it
a
is.
blank Gary out here in E8, which they're currently pressuring mid HQ off.
Yep,
What Esprit have seemed to do in the past is they'll pressure mid HQ to shut down that spawn, and then they'll go for the death blow on one of the side spawns.
Yeah, I think that's probably the way we're going to see this one play out. That said, we've got all the time in the world for Chimera. We've got just under half an hour left to go in this map. Just under half an hour to go. It's all the time in the world for Chimera to start clapping back and start deleting some of this ESPT push. We're seeing them with that big flank we were seeing before. We're looking now towards the south. We're seeing ESPT really sort of dominate that and defend very deep on Aid Station. Chimera doing exactly what we wanted to see them do. They're pushing up from that defensive point up towards Cabbage Patch, up towards Aid Station, and putting that frontal pressure on. They know they have that flank doing its work, and that flank really starting to come into fruition. This has been a very good play from Chimera, hasn't it?
Yeah, so what's really working here is they're keeping their pressure on the front through the likes of Prowse, Can Actually Watchmen, but then they're also swinging troops along the riverside, Panic, Lorvain, Gang, etc. So trying to get in on those double angles and really put a lot of pressure and stress under the defenders of Aid Station.
Yeah, because it's one of those things, isn't it? The more pressure the defenders for a point are under, the less able they're able to spawn people onto offense. So
yeah, exactly.
If they need the bulk of their troops defending, it means they can't really do that. Well, we're safe now. It's just what we saw with the last point. They said, well, we're pretty safe. There's nothing we need to worry about. They spawned everyone forward. As soon as we saw the point, their defensive point be contested, we saw them really start to panic and drop lads back. And I thought they dealt with that well.
And on the inverse for Esprit here, again, they're just doing a lot of enveloping actions, it seems. So yes, Chimera pushing along well, but they've claimed Madeline Bridge, or what would be the strong point of Madeline Bridge in that 3-story, and then they're applying backwards pressure onto the Chimera flank, which I can't remember seeing a team do that in a very long time.
Yep, artillery's doing some work, isn't it? Good hit on that tank. It's now going to be on fire. Elsink's going to take some shots towards Butters and Kobu, but he's going to be ineffective. They're going to know he's there now. He's going to die to artillery before he gets up there. Jeez. We knew artillery was going to be a massive factor in this match, and we've seen it. We've absolutely seen it do its work. That said, we've seen 2 lots of artillery heading, falling onto the Chimera attack, so I'm wondering whether there's a little bit of friendly fire going in there. That's all right. It does happen. If you're not killing people with friendly fire on artillery, are you even on artillery? Something just died there. I didn't see who what that was out of the corner of my eye. Looked like it was going to be a repair station that died right next to a dead 76 off to its left. Chimera, good amount of pressure going onto A station. They do have a good push going. That said, they are being absolutely shut down that sort of main canal route from Cabbage Patch. Yeah, 76 going down there.
It's to the point where there's realistically no flank for Chimera at the moment. It's just a straight push over about 400 meters of country.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
Which is, it's rough. On PHL expressly, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these guys have 100 deaths.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd be very interested to see the post-match stats on how many kills artillery got. I haven't got it sorted out. What I really should do is sort out a stat screen for the end of this stream. I don't have it, but you win some, you lose some. Chimera still have lots of work to do. They're currently losing 4-1 to this very well drilled and very good ESPT side. We're expecting to see this. Chimera defending very deep. They do have that sector control around Cabbage Patch, which is towards the top of your screen at the moment. Let's swing over there and just see whether or not ESPT don't have any lads on the point itself. That said, Chimera, they know that push is going to be coming. Have a look at that battle line that we're seeing up towards the north from ESPT. They are pushing, and they are pushing hard, Mr. Fuzzle.
Yeah, that they are. It's just a complete meat grind. I am so glad I'm not playing in this one. I am commentating. Thank you, Lord.
I know, right? I don't want to know how many deaths I'd have as infantry on this map. Artillery. You know those artillery boys. You know they are smiling behind their guns at the moment, aren't they, Fuzz? They are very happy to do it. Let's have a look at this defense, because we're having a look at Chimera moving in. That's going to be the Chimera bombing run. Moving over the point itself. Those Chimera lads, which is Powerfish Panic, Lorvain, Prowse, and Jinx going to push off the back of that one. US Ranger's going to get Jinx in behind him. He's going to take down Lorvain before he gets brutally murdered himself. Probably by Jinx there. Cool Polak going down. Panic's going to go bite it as well. Good push. This is a very good push from Chimera. Exactly what we wanted to see from them. ESPT have been pushed out of this aid station point now. Hopefully with those lads from Chimera very deep in the point, we're going to see them start to put a little bit of pressure on. It means the rest of their battle line can move up. That said, have a look at that. Have a look at that ESPT flank we're seeing from the top. They do exactly where Chimera was before when ESPT took the point. Not 10 minutes ago. It looks like it's going to be contested. Not enough of a push. That said, Chimera are very, very deep. We're going to have a look at this fight here. Kiwi's in the building. Shazza's just outside of it. Kiwi's just sort of going to see whether he can poke some windows. Peek some windows. He's got the machine gun. Going to try and get that one set up. Just to try and deal with that. He's going to get brutally murdered before he has any effect. That's all right. Chimera currently capping. ESPT trying to get back, trying to doggedly defend this one. Big spawn wave we've just seen from ESPT go back there. From that garrison we're seeing just behind the point. I think Chimera, with that initial push, really needed to deal with that Gary if they were going to have that sustained pressure. That said, they are dealing with most of that spawn wave that came off it now. Diesel, Shazza, and Prowse. Prowse going down as I call his name out. Diesel's going to have a little bit of a fight with Ares and Kobu. He's going to take out Kobu. Diesel going to get brutally murdered by Ares before he has any effect. Butters is going to push up as well. Going to be defended. We are seeing a good defense from this ESPT side. Chimera really trying to get back into it. I wouldn't call this one.
Yeah, I think you were bang on the money there, Stu. Getting that Gary is the linchpin of this point right now. If they can get the Gary, they get the point.
Oh, I think you're right. They really need to push in there and get that. That bombing run could have been absolutely clutch. It did take out a lot of the infantry, but the Chimera infantry unable to take advantage of that. Welcome in if you're joining the stream. Pleasure to have you. We're at the pointy end of this ESPT versus Chimera match. We're coming up to 21 minutes left in this match. It is currently 4-1 going ESPT way. And it's... Big Nicholas, have you been enjoying this match so far? It has been a cracker of a match, hasn't it, my friend?
Oh, definitely sure has, Stu.
I hope you've been enjoying this one. I've just seen somebody tells me to slow down my cameras. I get excited. There is nothing you can do about that. I do try and remember from time to time. What are you going to do? ESPT really getting back in and defending this one. We saw a good push from Chimera. It has put the pressure back on ESPT. They're just a well-drilled side. Even though they're about quarter caps from this ESPT side, we did see them just show some composure. We've seen Shazza sitting on the point there. Just sitting in the middle. He's going to be the recon spotter, so he's not going to have that much. Cabbage Patch, I did miss this one. It is being contested. Let's get back and have a look at... let's see back and have a look at that. ESPT putting a god-awful amount of pressure onto this Cabbage Patch point. Thork, and GBI. OBI. That's all right, my eyesight's terrible. OBI from Chimera are going to be the last defensive lads. TN Strike, nothing too fancy. For a man called that, we have seen him in some very advanced positions.
We've got a great, pretty ballsy garrison here by Esprit, putting pressure straight on Cabbage Patch. I don't know for the life of me how he got here. Probably belly crawled from the river, dragging his guts with him. But again, that blue zone Gary just getting everyone on. 2 flares up in the air. They know where everyone is around the point. You know, this is looking dire.
This is absolutely looking bad. Have a look at that, Gary. Out in the middle of the field. You'd think they'd probably be able to spot that one out and chuck a rocket at it, but Chimera trying to get lads back in. They're towards the left. We've just seen Suicide and Thork go down. 17 Jaeger, we know and love that guy. Mister's going to push back in as well. Esprit de Corps putting a lot of pressure on the point. Chimera, I don't know whether they're going to be able to drag this one back. I'd like to say this is anyone's match, but I think we're going to see an Esprit de Corps victory now as we come just under 20 minutes in this match. This has been a cracker of a match still so far. Chimera getting some subs down towards the bottom of your screen there. Just trying to get that Gary back up, but Esprit de Corps have a lot of lads onto the strong point itself. I don't know whether Chimera are going to be able to drag this one back, but Mr. Fuzz, I don't know whether they're going to be able to keep it back.
I think that'll be curtains, unless we see, bombing run, airhead, something like that. I think it'll be curtains. Just pushing into Cabbage Patch from HQ ain't going to cut it.
No, but this is, as we can say that, look, Chimera could have defended, but we've seen a great match. All credit to the Chimera lads. We've seen an absolute banger of a match from them. It's just Esprit de Corps coming away with the win today. I think they've just played a great brand of Hell Let Loose. They've absolutely crushed it, and I've loved watching every minute of this match. We're coming up to about 2/3 caps now. Esprit de Corps dominant on the point itself. I don't think Chimera are going to get back, but it's just shown how well Esprit de Corps have played. This is just the climax. Yeah, you heard what I said. The climax over one hell of a game of Hell Let Loose, and I feel like 5-0. That doesn't tell the whole story, does it? We've seen some great gameplay from, as we see, that's got to have been the airhead, I'm assuming.
That was an Esprit airhead, just solidifying their victory there.
There it is. That's the airhead. Yeah, Esprit de Corps going to come away with the 5-0 win over Chimera, and that is one hell of a scamp. One hell of a scalp for this Esprit de Corps team. And there it is, Fuzz. I'm just going to scroll through the scores. Normally, this is the part where I tell you to get your face on. But as we know, your face always looks pretty because, funnily enough, no matter how much you talk, it always looks exactly the same.
Yeah, just there in the picturesque pose that the Australian internet chose for me.
Scrolling through the scores now. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get back in and do a little bit of post-match antics. Hopefully we've got some people stopping by for some post-match interviews. Stick around. We'll see a little bit of this action. Just making sure the tie's right. Fuzz! What? That was one hell of a game, my friend.
Yeah, that game, I think, really just shows the dominance of Esprit there. You know, they won those gunfights, and you can almost say they won this match 20 meters at a time. They just kept marching them back and back and back and back.
I think that was a combination of good grind from them, really just winning those gunfights through the middle, and really dealing with those Chimera. They had some very good flanks, but Esprit de Corps really dealing with them very, very well. I do have Jim Bonium. He's going to be in our transfer room, so I'm going to swing them up in a sec. Jim Bonium, is the Esprit de Corps lad, isn't he?
That he is, I believe.
So I might just wait. I do like to talk to the second place getter before we talk to the winner. So hopefully we see your Chimera lad drop in shortly. But we'll just talk about the bracket. In terms of what this means for seasonal, it does mean that Esprit de Corps will move up into that that upper bracket, as you see. They will play the winner of Greyhound and KRT up the top there. Whew. And it does mean, I think, look, my eyesight's terrible, but I think that means that Chimera will move to the middle bracket and be fighting their way for a place in the finals of this goddamn awesome seasonal tournament. We don't have the Chimera person, so what I might do is I might just move Jim Bonian up. Like so. There he is. Jim Bonium. Just want to confirm, just because I'm terrible at names, you are our Esprit de Corps member, right? Am I correct?
Correct. Yeah, that's me.
You'd be pretty happy with the way that game went, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Look, I feel like 5-0 against Chimera is nothing to turn your nose up against. That was a cracking match from your lad. So congratulations, my friend.
Thank you. It was kind of sketchy at the very beginning because we lost a truck on the main road like immediately, and I think a second truck got kind of stuck in one of the waterways. So in terms of the opener, it was just like, all right, well, this isn't going great.
Yep. Look, it does happen to the best of us. Everyone's been in one of those trucks that gets stuck, and you're stuck with a long run into the middle. But look, I think your guys showed very good composure through the entirety of that. Look, I thought it was a little weird. I think Chimera really set up for that recap on the mid, and then sort of weren't expecting not to have that presence from Esprit de Corps in the middle. That said, your guys' composure really got in, took that middle cap, and there was only one point where it looked a little bit dicey, but you got the lads back to defend. So it looked very well played from your boys.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun, especially in a tank. Like we were sending a lot of HE out, and that's always a good time.
We saw some domination from your 76ers this match. I think Fuzz called it out a couple of times, but we could find those 2 or 3 76ers on the map, and it allowed you guys the ability to really push that 76 in nice and deep, and knowing that you had that tank support in reserve to be able to fall back on as well. So look, well done to you guys.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, tanks are sort of the biggest factor for infantry being able to take a point. So the fact that we were able to get in there and get it done is it's always a great feeling.
Absolutely. We'll wrap this thank you for dropping by for the post-match interview.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
There is something I like to do, Fuzz. Now, if you're not an Australian, I'd like to point out that this is a piece of footwear. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is a beverage. What we do in Australia...
I know what's happening here.
We combine the beverage with the piece of footwear, like so. We try and do this with a minimum of fuzz. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Now, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, this one goes out to our friends over at Esprit de Corps, taking the 5-0 over Chimera, but it also goes out to a valiant defense from Chimera. We know they can play, and we saw that today. They play a great brand of Hell Let Loose, but this one goes to Esprit de Corps. ESPT, well done. Fuzz, I'll let you do the honors. What is the only thing we can say at a moment like this?
The only thing to say, Stu, is welcome to Australia, cunts.
Welcome to Australia, cunts.
Hell yeah, brother.
Goddamn, ladies and gentlemen. Fuzz, thanks for joining us. It was a goddamn pleasure to have you, my friend.
Yeah, happy to be here, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure casting this match, even though my Chimera blokes didn't get the win. Still a cracker of a match.
It was a great match, and look, all credit to your lads. I thought they did very, very well. Nicholas, thank you for doing the special comments for me, my friend.
Cheers, dude.
It was an absolute pleasure to have you, my friend. Jim, thank you very much for joining us post-match.
We've also got the Chimera Commander, if you want to drag him in, Stu, for some last comment.
We do too. Let's jump him up. Mav, I've dragged you up, my friend. Sorry I didn't see you till a little bit later. So I have done the shoey already, but look, all credit to your lads, mate. You played one hell of a game of Hell Let Loose today. You were unlucky. Esprit de Corps just coming out in front.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty tough team. Congratulations to them. Like, that was GG to them. They won out in the tanks, the shooting, positioning. They did very well.
Yeah, but I'd like to say, like, all credit to your guys. I thought you played a great game. Some of your flanking squads were some of the best I think I've seen in seasonal so far. Look, they were unlucky, and they did get pushed out on occasion. But look, all credit to your guys. I don't think I could take too much away from you guys.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch that one over a few times, see what we did wrong there, what we could have done. But we basically followed our game plan, but they just won out in the end. Like, yeah, not much to say.
Yeah, I think look, 5-0. I don't think that that tells the whole storyline. You guys did really well, so I'll say thank you to you as well. I've already thanked Fuzz. I've already thanked Dick Nicholas. Just to recap, this was a 5-0 win by Esprit de Corps over Chimera on Purple Heart Lane night. This means that Esprit de Corps advances to the upper bracket. Chimera will fight their way through the middle bracket, but I'm expecting to see some more banging games from your lads moving forward, and I can't wait to watch Chimera and ESPT moving forward in seasonal. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I like to finish every stream here by saying, ladies and gentlemen, look after yourselves. Now, if you can manage to do that, please see if you can't look after somebody else too. I'll see you guys next Smashcast. I'll see you guys next stream. And you know what? I'm going to goddamn look forward to it. Love you guys.